Oh, gotta listen to this album for this review. Fell asleep and forgot. Oh man, here I go being careless again. Put that aux cord in there. Come on, I know you're on. I've been charging you all night. Come on now. Click on that Spotify app. Where is it at? There we go. We gotta turn up a little bit in here.
Yo, what up, world? What's good? It's Grap Lover, the youngest soul brother, in the place to be. Yo, we about to get into this album review by 16-year-old Dakari Holder. Now, the album he's about to review was made in 1996, 95, 96, right? This young man is 16. So I'm interested to see what his take is on this classic album. The album is entitled The Life I Live, in the group InI's, produced by none other than the legendary DJ Pete Rock. So Dakari, let's get into it.
Hello everyone, this is Dakari Holder here once again, back for an album review. I did an album review before, but that was on a Tribe Called Quest, People's Instinctive Travels in a Passive Rhythm, which was their first album. And I gotta admit, I didn't know what the heck I was doing with that video there. So this is officially album review number 1, and I'm here to talk about an underappreciated classic, InI, The Life I Live, aka Center of Attention. Quick backstory behind this album. InI was a short-lived hip-hop group from Mount Vernon, put together by legendary producer Pete Rock. In case you guys don't know, he's one of the most celebrated and renowned hip-hop producers ever. It was put together by Pete Rock, and the group consisted of Pete Rock's younger brother, Grap Lover, who did the introduction for the video. Thank you so much, sir, for doing that. Robbo, Marco Polo, and Ross, or Ross Jolamite. And these 4 guys, they are from Mount Vernon, and they came together to make this album. Unfortunately, the album was shelved due to it not appealing to the commercial audience. So after that, the album was bootlegged by several people in the underground hip-hop community and has been loved by many in the underground hip-hop community. And it's been officially released by Pete Rock himself, and it's been available to the entire world ever since. Now, I first discovered this album on one of Vin Rican's Wax Only episodes, which if you haven't checked that out, I definitely suggest you do. If you want to get into hip-hop, if you want to get into how hip-hop was brought in, how hip-hop is created, then definitely watch that. I first found out about the InI album from one of those episodes, and it kind of intrigued me because the sound of the album was very artistic and very unique. You know, Pete Rock, he comes with the spectacular, out of this world, simplistic but unique sounding production. So I had to check it out. I only listened to one song. I didn't listen to the entire album. I heard this song called Fakin' Jacks by InI. It's on the album as well.
Check it out. As I commence lyrical content, now bust the grammar. Niggas trying to make me flip out like David Banner. Busting out the garment, slamming shit like Onyx. When I'm vexed, I flex and turn green like the
This is when I created my Instagram account, and I had no clue that this was their most popular song. Like, no one was talking about the other song I listened to more than Fakin' Jacks, because Fakin' Jacks was possibly their most popular song. That's possibly my favorite song off the album, and I'll tell you why in a few. Now, let me tell you what I think about the album. I think the album is an unappreciated classic. Mainly it's because of how unique and how thorough this album really is. You got these 4 MCs who seriously pouring knowledge into your brain, and the knowledge they have is from what they believe in, their religion, and knowledge of self, and the society they live in. You know, they really acknowledge all of these things in this one album, and the subject matter is very realistic. Even though these MCs sound really chill and relaxing, they want to get their point across without being too firm. And you notice that when you listen to this album, they're trying to get their point across without being too tough and firm, and it really shows on the album. The subject matter is very realistic though, and it goes through societies, how the American society is cruel and the life they've lived, you know, hence the name of the album. All the MCs in the group. I'm gonna say this right now, Rob-O, he steals the show. Rob-O, he's kind of like this smooth MC who can get rough anytime you want him to, or it all depends on the subject matter. Rob-O is definitely a shining star on this album. He kind of steals the show, especially on the title track, The Life I Live. He kind of goes in on how he was brought up and about the society he lives in and everything. It's kind of unique and refreshing to hear everyone come together and make something that's virtuous, knowledgeable, such as this. You know, you really don't come across a hip-hop album like this at any time, anywhere. But once you hear this album, you're kind of like, what was I missing? Find out after you listen to this, like, this is what you were missing right here. It was that knowledge you needed. This album is all about conquering your fears and learning about yourself and where you belong and discovering who you are as a person. The MCs across this album, even though there's plenty of clever braggadocio and witty rhymes on this album, they kind of show that, you know, you can find yourself without being afraid of doing so through their rhymes. And I think that's very commendable. Let's go into the production of the album. The production is simplistic but very stellar from the legendary Pete Rock. Pete Rock definitely comes through on this album. Sometimes you may need the simplistic production. You don't need multi-layered production everywhere. You don't need a lot of sounds like you hear nowadays, but as the saying goes, less is more. The less you have things, the more impact it has on others. You can definitely say that on this album, really. Instrumentals are really ahead of their time, especially for 95, 96. I wanted to talk about Fakin' Jax real quick. Fakin' Jax has possibly one of the greatest beats in hip-hop history, with some beautiful harp samples, the milky bass line, and to that excellent use or drum programming of the Honey Drippers Impeach the President. That's possibly the greatest use of that drum break. Hearing that, the beat just goes hard itself. But the song Fakin' Jax is obviously about confronting those or teaching those not to fake their personality, or else they're gonna be in a place they don't want to be in. That's possibly my favorite song off the album. I have two songs that I thought were kind of weaker elements to the album, and those songs are Crossroads and Don't You Love It. Crossroads is a love song. Rob-O, again, he's telling his little love story he had, which is kind of sad, but you don't necessarily feel that emotion seeping through him. I get it's a love song, but if you want me to be honest, I didn't feel that emotion that was supposed to be on that song. Don't You Love It is a really good song, but it kind of sounded like it needed to be on another album, because it's kind of like a tonal shift from everything else that was happening in the album itself, and it didn't sound like anything else on the album. So those are the only two songs that I thought were kind of weak. They're not bad songs at all. They just kind of detract from everything else that's on the album. If you want a hip-hop album that you want to learn from, if you want to listen to some hip-hop that will pour some knowledge into your brain, if you want some intellect in your life, especially when it comes to hip-hop, then definitely listen to this album. This album is freaking gold. Even if it has some weaker elements, you can still listen to it all the way through. It's a very unique project, in my opinion. If you haven't listened to this album, please do. It's worth the listen. Go buy it on iTunes. Go get the vinyl, get the CD. Listen to it on Spotify. Listen to it on all the streaming platforms. It's worth listening to. My rating for this album is... Definitely listen to the album. Highly recommend it. First off the bat, I would love to thank Grap Lover for doing the introduction of the video. It really means a lot to me. He reached out to me on Twitter, and we just started having a conversation on Twitter and everything. about, you know, the album and everything, because I tweeted about the album, me having it in heavy rotation, and he acknowledged it. So thank you, sir, for acknowledging that very much. I'll do more album reviews as soon as I can, but I'm in high school, guys, like a lot going on right now, so I'm trying to accomplish everything I can. More content on the way. Definitely look forward to more content. If you haven't listened to the album, definitely do. I highly recommend it. Stay blessed and have a nice day.